Okay, let's work on the last part of our Photoshop C lesson, which is working with something called a layer mask. Now, a layer mask allows you to define which areas of an artwork on a single layer are visible, not visible, or partly visible. Now, the basic concept is that white areas of a layer mask represent areas that are 100% visible. Black areas of a layer mask represent 100% masked, otherwise known as invisible, and you can use gray as a way to make areas semi-transparent. So what we are going to do is we're going to work with our roses layer. So let's go ahead and target the rose layer. And then in order to get a layer mask to pop up, we go to Layer on the menu bar, go down to Layer Mask, and then Reveal All. Now when we do this, nothing happens on our actual graphic, but when we go over to the roses layer, you're going to see that we now have an additional thumbnail. It's all white, which means that everything on the layer is visible right now. And you can also see that the layer mask is selected because it has these little white lines around the four corners. That means that that is actually selected right now. Okay? And what we want to do is let's click on our little FX right here, the little drop down gray triangle, and we're going to turn off our outer glow because we don't actually want to see that right now. We just want to work with the leaves. So what we're going to do is actually mask the leaves so they're not visible anymore. Only the roses are visible. So in order to make this work, we need to make sure that our foreground background colors are black over white. So notice that mine are white over black right now. And right up above that on my tool panel, I have the little switch foreground background. It's a little arrow, a line with arrows on both ends. I'm going to click on that, and that's going to make my foreground color black, which is what I want to have happen. Okay? Then what we need to do is we're going to click on our brushes tool. So our brush tool is about a third of the way down, third to a half of the way down on our tools panel. It looks like a little paintbrush. You can go ahead and click on it. And then I'm going to go up here to my options bar, and I'm going to open up this where I can change my size and the hardness of my brush. So I want my size to be about 15 pixels. And then I'm going to change my hardness to 30%. Okay. So once I have my brush ready to go, you can see that your brush looks like a little circle. I'm actually going to grab my zoom tool and zoom in on this green leaf and make sure that my brush tool is selected, and now I can come out here and I'm just clicking and dragging, and you're going to notice how the leaf starts to disappear. Now as you do this, you're going to notice that over on your thumbnail over here, you're getting a little bit of black. And as you continue to mask this leaf, you're going to see that black area start to get bigger over on your layer thumbnail. Now, the reason that it's getting bigger is because we are currently masking or hiding, I like to say, this part of the leaf. Now, some people are like, why wouldn't we just use our eraser tool and get rid of it? Well, that's a good thing to ask oneself. The thing that's really great about layer masks is that if you mask something, you can always unmask it. If you delete something, it's gone forever. Especially if you were to work on this graphic and then close it out and come back to it at a later date, it would for sure be gone. There would be no way to get these leaves back if you decided later on that you actually liked those. So that's the beauty of a layer mask, is it allows you to remove something, but you can always get it back if you want to. So once you kind of have your outline done and you've kind of gone around so that you're not super close to the roses, because we don't want to mask those, okay? We can increase the size of our brush. I'm going to put mine up to like 30. And then come out here and get rid of the rest of that leaf. That's going to go all bye-bye. All gone. All gone. Okay. Once you have that, let's move down a little bit, and don't forget, because there's a little bit of a leaf down here as well. And I'm just going to kind of trace around it, nice and slow, to get rid of your other leaf down there. And now what I want to show you, I'm going to double click my hand tool so that it goes back and you can see that our leaves are gone, which is what we wanted. If you go over to your layer panel and we hold our Alt key down and click on the layer mask, you're going to see here the black that you drew. And you'll see how black, remember, is what is not showing. White is shown everywhere else. So you can click back on your little rose thumbnail and the rest of your picture will come back. We can turn our outer glow effect back on so we can see that. Another way that you can see what it looks like with and without your leaves is if you hold your Shift key down and click on the layer mask thumbnail. You'll see that it puts a red X over it. That just means that it's canceling out your layer mask so you can see whether you like it with the leaves or without the leaves. And then you just have to hold your Shift key down to toggle back and forth between those two. So, a couple of reminders of how to do a layer mask, says this is where most people get a little tripped up when they're working in Photoshop C. So remember, the first thing that you have to do is make sure that you're on the correct layer. Then you need to go to Layer, Layer Mask, and choose the Reveal All button. Mine's grayed out right now because I already have a layer mask on here. Okay, that's step one. Step two is to make sure that you have black over white, because if this color is anything other than black, your layer mask is not going to work. Okay, then you go out and get your brush tool, set your brush to whatever size and hardness that you want, and then you go out onto your artwork and mask whatever portion you're trying to mask. Okay, so those are the steps to getting your layer mask. You can also find them on page 74 of the book if you have questions about doing your layer mask as well. So you can go ahead and close down C2. If you want to save it just so you can reference it later on, you can certainly do that. But go ahead and close, and we are finished with Photoshop C.